Hi, today I wanted to speak about the scope of an editor. The scope that an editor has in a feature film or any film for that matter, and the sort of commitment he could give to a project, these sort of things. See, editor scope is starts from the pre-production. Normally, I you have to have a very good rapport with your director so that he allows you to participate in the pre-production of a film. Meaning, you start from reading the script. See, a director with great difficulty and with a lot of people would have created a script, and with a team of maybe writers and assistant directors and lot of brainstorming, they would have come with a script. So the editor, he or she can be a part of that, where if not at the discussion stage, at least at the first reading stage, when the script is ready and he reads it, by his past experience or his intuition towards seeing films, he will be able to contribute something to that, which is very essential, because then you start being part of the project. So you will read the script, and then you will start looking at the pros and cons, and it's your job to visualize it as much as the other technicians are doing, so that you see how it flows. So main job editor has, what is it? It is to see that the story flow of the story keeps going in a way that it keeps it entertaining or engrossing or whatever, depending on the genre of the film, and you have a clear flow of the film. So which you have to, as an editor, visualize and see whether that is happening, and that's the first step an editor can help in the production, I feel, of a film. So he will read it, and it's an objective. You haven't worked on it for a long time, or you haven't had preconceived notions that it's going to be like that. You're reading it fresh. You probably know that it's uh, the point is based on something, or but how it flows, and then you start seeing that, oh, I felt it very interesting till about 30% of the movie, and then I'm thinking it's sort of not so interesting, and then it becomes interesting. These sort of things, which is, or it's going too fast, you're not able to understand the emotion. The emotion is not coming because it's going too far. So these sort of things the editor has to read and sort of share with the director, I feel. So when this happens at the initial stages, then you are fully aware of what is the product about, what is the story, what are the characters, and you will identify with those characters, and you will be a very much part of the unit of the filmmaking. So it will give you a sense of responsibility to give your input and also to take it forward, because your major part of the editing happens obviously after the shoot is over, by which they would have canned all the footage and given it to you. Now you know exactly what is that emotion which is required, what is that story you need to tell, what is that in each scene you have to tell. So your focus becomes better. So editor has a responsibility to be part of it, and the most important thing is that you're working with another person's vision. A director has a vision of this film, and that is why he's making this film. You're also interested in that film because of what he wants to convey. So now it's your duty to sit with the director and get that translated in a movie form. So this is what is the scope. And also you have to understand that editor's job doesn't finish with only the editing stage. Editing means, I'm talking about first rough cut. First time you probably do an objective editor's cut, and then I'm fortunate enough to do that. Maybe the director will sit with you, it's okay, you collaborate and you do it, and then you go to locking the film at some stage. Okay, so now your relationship with the director would be of not of a where there should not be any friction basically, because both attitude to would be to look at the final product. You want the final product to come out well, which means you take your attitude out or your ego out of the equation to make it happen. That is most important. So then the editor's job even continues after that, because see, while editing so many things, I am thinking of all the other technicians who are going to be involved in making this edit work. So I am thinking about how the sound would be placed. And so maybe I will, if I have the facility, put some sort of sound as a scratch layer on the edit to see as it is going on. Like there are some sound effects like phone ringing or anything. We just give, so it gives us a sense of how it is and how you feel when some moment is broken by the sound and things like that. You'll get a better sense. Now you have the facility, you'd probably do it. So when you give, you're creating spaces for ambience to come. You're creating spaces for effects to come, music to come, to elevate the whole experience of watching a film. So you are not only thinking that how to join two shots. No, you're joining how smoothly the transition can happen from one shot to another. You're looking at the emotion, you're looking at how the sound would be playing, and you will be looking at how there will be space for music. If you cut it too short, some emotions will not stay in your mind because you wouldn't have given scope for enough music at that point. A music, probably, if it is denoting some emotion and you need some space, it has to be for a certain amount of time. Otherwise, what will the music director play for you to feel that's emotion you want him to feel? So all these things play till the post-production of the film. And then the editor's job continues after that, I feel, where he has to give all the outputs to all the departments. That's the first thing. And then all the department like sound, DI, special effects, CG, all these things we give outputs, and they all do their jobs, and they all come back to the editing room every time. So they come back to the editing room, you post it there and you see it and you show the director and both of you approve it, and then it goes to the next stage of whether it has to be corrected or it is approved. So like this he goes on till he reaches the point of getting to the point of the final mixing of the soundtracks. The visual is still locked and the CGs have come in. Now the sound has to be locked. So when the sound is going to be locked, the mixing happens. So even then, I think an editor has to be participating in that to see that all the cuts which he has done, imagining that there's going to be sound here. Sometimes you do sound cuts. Sound cuts are things like, suppose there's a door. You want to end a scene early. You would have probably closed at the door, end of the scene with the door closed, and you would have jumped, and you wouldn't have had him going out and all that because you feel that information is unnecessary. So you go on with, you would have done a jump cut where you would have, or a car door closes, and then you cut to already the vehicle is passing, and you don't need to have the actual starting and going because at that moment the situation demands you to pace it up. Okay, so now you have done it in the edit. Now what happens is, at the point of mix, if it is not underlined, that sound, then your edit will look jerky. So it's a duty to be participating in all the thing to see that everything comes out, and then it comes with a final print. So when the final print comes, it's obviously the most exciting job for me, because to see what you have worked over a period of few months or few days or any amount of time, it just comes to life on the big screen as a whole single film with all the things correct. The visuals are graded correctly, and the audio is mixed correctly, and the CG has come in. So you're seeing the film for the first time as a complete film, which goes before it goes for the censor. So you see the film, and then you feel a sense of satisfaction at having completed a job. So this is the scope of an editor as such, where so much of work, you have to own it up. It's not like an editor has to own the job which he is interested with as a whole package, and not only look at it from a distance. You have to be part of the journey, and you have to be very, very passionate about it, I feel.